What is my purpose? What part am I supposed to play in the bigger narrative? What is my deal in all of this? Welcome to the Search Show. I am Malise Onwafo, and today we'll be looking at something that uh, it's a crucial topic. It's something that would help us become more open-minded. It helps us become more open to the possibilities of what we can achieve. And the topic of today's discussion or today's focus is bullseye, finding your essence. Bullseye, like hitting the target, the bullseye on a darts board or something, finding your essence. Let's get the definitions out of the way. Bullseye means something crucial or central, the center of a target. Essence is the basic nature of a thing, the quality or qualities that make a thing what it is. Riley stated, there are things that make you you. There are distinct, unique features that are peculiar to only yourself. You can't find these things in any other person. As much as you think that someone else can do what you are doing, they can't do it the way you do it. There are things that guide, your manner of approach to certain things in life. That's what we talk about. They are qualities, not just one thing. It could be a quality or qualities that make a thing what it is. That is your essence. So we'll be considering three things today. Um, yeah. The first is take an inventory of your assets and liabilities. You see, when I think of talking about something like this, it sometimes it becomes overwhelming because, quite frankly, I am still on a journey of walking. It's not that I haven't found myself. I know what my essence is. I know the qualities. I know the superior quality that makes me who I am. Then I know the qualities that follow, that identify or that encapsulates the person of Malise Onwafo. The thing is, most times we think that we've got it all figured out. When you listen to podcasts like this, it seems like these people have it all figured out. Truth is, where everyone behind a podcast mic, behind a earpiece mic, behind a recording studio or camera, nobody has everything figured out. Nobody will ever figure out everything. It's not something to be down or sad about. I'm not preaching pessimism, but it's the truth of the matter. You would never figure everything out, but your life's work, as you go through life, you figure out things. And when we say take an inventory, the first thing is take an inventory of your assets and liabilities. When we say take an inventory is like a list. Know what you have and what you don't have. It mostly happens in quality or production management, when you are trying to take a stock of your resources, take a stock of production, and the rest of it. So when we talk about assets and liabilities here, we're not talking about tangible things or the money in your account, or probably you have X amount of dollars and you have Y amount of dollars spent, which has probably incurred some loss or whatever. We're not talking about the financial aspects. We're talking about something more, like, say, psychological and philosophical, so to say. When we talk about your assets, they are your greatest strengths. What are the things that you do that come to you naturally? Some people talking. I was, funny enough, I was recording this episode, and I had some bad I had some bad things or some circumstances with the audio. It was very crappy. It was sounding very icky, you know. And trying to re-record became stressful because I wasn't finding any motivation. The truth of that's to tell you that I don't have everything figured out because I was so hyped when I did the first recording, after the recording, you know, putting the background music and everything, I got to find out that the audio output was not satisfactory, and I was pained. Trying to re-record, I was like, oh man, you know what? I'm not going to do this today. I'll probably postpone and find some other time where I'm motivated. But that's the thing. Lack of motivation could be a liability, and it is a liability when you have no inspiration, when nothing seems to be working for you. And this is not the only liability. Other liabilities, most liabilities, most of your weaknesses are more mental than they are physical. You're probably thinking that you're an introvert, you can't talk to people, and you want to spread a message that is going to bring hope and salvation to them, that is going to introduce them to a life that is far better than what cultural standards put out. But you're afraid, you don't want to go out of your comfort zone, you don't want to network, you don't want to socialize. I get it. If you're an introvert out there, it's sometimes cloudy, it sometimes looks very scary to pursue it. Or maybe you say you're an extrovert and you're too bubbly and energetic, and people do not really like your energy, so to say, or probably you're giving off the wrong vibe to people, and you're finding it difficult because you don't want people to have the wrong impression about you, but at the same time you don't want to switch or dampen your personality just because of other people. Now this is something you take a stock of. Being an introvert is your asset, is your great it could be your greatest asset. Your personality is your greatest asset. Take it or leave it, but I would advise that you take it, because once you're able to hone your personality, once you're able to work on it, once you're able to use it, being an introvert has its perks, it has its advantages. You don't always have to be involved in every political discussion and everything. We're not talking about that. But you need to know when to speak up and when to retract. So know what your assets are and know what your liabilities are. And the second thing we'll be considering is a question: what is the ideology behind being yourself? This is a question you can probably write down in your journal and think about it. Something I would think about, most likely journal about, take some self reflection and introspection and just ask myself, what is the ideology behind being myself? What makes me me? What makes you yourself? What are the qualities that make up yourself? What makes you tick? What wakes you up in the morning? What drives you? So once you figure that out, what is the ideology when people say you have to be yourself? You More often than not, you walk into a space and probably you have a friend that is used to that space and you're not accustomed to everything. You walk up to your friend and say, "Oh, bro, bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do." And the person is like, "No, you don't have to worry, just be yourself." What is that yourself, so to say? What is that thing that your friend sees or someone sees and tells you to become or to be that person? I want you to think about it. It's not something that I'm going to give you an answer to, because I do not, quite frankly, if you're listening, you know, wherever you're listening from, I do not know you. I can only speak for me. But that is a question that only you have the answer to. What is that you that people might be seeing that you might not see, or you are not seeing? Think about it. Think about it. And the third and final thing we'll consider is anonymity versus prominence. Now we've talked about assets, your assets and liabilities. We've asked a question about who you are. You know, what is the ideology behind being yourself? Now we're talking about anonymity and prominence versus prominence. Sorry. Now, when most people take a stock of their strengths and weaknesses, where they're able to see what other people see in them and even see beyond that and become confident in their abilities, this is something they struggle with, which is they struggle with anonymity versus prominence. You know, once someone has become confident in themselves, there is a process from anonymity to prominence. Some people just want to skip being anonymous for a certain period of time and fly into prominence, fly into stardom, be in the spotlight all the time. But even people in the spotlight know that there are certain seasons where you go into hibernation, so to say, you go back into obscurity and anonymity. That is a time where you work on the skills you've gotten and even learn more things. But people's crave for attention, crave for stardom, and the celebrity status makes them compromise more often than not. They switch their values, change their value systems just so they can maintain prominence and recognition from people. That is the worst thing you could do for yourself. Because if you claim you found yourself, if you claim that you've evaluated your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, you know, you must know that when you are in the spotlight, there will be a time where you have to go back and recharge. There will be a time where you have to restrict yourself. That was the word. Restrict yourself from the crowd. You need to place restrictions. There needs to be a constraint. If there is no constraint, there is no restriction, you find yourself compromising. And once you can compromise your values and sway to the left, politically speaking, or psychologically, your ideologies, once you sway to the left, it's more difficult to sway back to the right because you've compromised and you fit in to a standard that is utterly rubbish. Okay? So, knowing who you were created to be opens you up to possibilities, builds your confidence in times of prominence and times of obscurity. Now, I'll say this, and I'll say this very clearly. There's a difference between knowing who you are and who you are created to be. People find out who they are, but they don't find out who they are created to be. I hope you can follow me on this. Who you are can be influenced by a certain number of factors. You know, environmental factors, your academic background, financial status, the country you grew up or grew up in, or the country you live in can be influenced. But who you are created to be, that is something that has been designed and perfectly executed by the Most High God. Now, myself, as an individual, I believe in God, and I believe that God has created everybody uniquely, with certain characteristics that make them themselves. So if you can find God, know God, understand the person of Jesus Christ, because I'm a Christian and that is my essence. That is the superior quality I was talking about. That's what makes me distinctive. So being a Christian and knowing that God loves me and God came down as Jesus and saved me from from this terrible world and their dark leftist thinking, it gives me confidence to hone my abilities and to speak, anytime and anywhere as God gives me the grace and the strength. That is my greatest strength. That is my greatest asset. What makes a good archer a great archer is his ability to hit his target despite the force of the wind. So Anybody can be a good archer. You can have a bow and arrow and just fire at the target. But what makes you a great archer is that in spite or despite the wind, you're able to resist the move of the wind, understand how the wind moves, the direction of the wind, and you're able to use the wind to your advantage. You're able to use the wind to your advantage. So when you can understand that the wind is not the one at fault, you are the archer. You are the archer. You have the arrow in your hands. And you can't say the wind is swaying you, because once you can understand the movement of the wind, you can go against the wind or even use the wind to your advantage. On a final note, the lust for comfort murders the passion of the soul. Khalil Gibran. So finding yourself, knowing who you're created to be, isn't a comfortable journey. Also, when you're looking for comfort, everything that makes up you, that makes your divine, God-given identity, it becomes crippled. So I hope you've taken something from this. Probably taken a couple of things. But this is the beginning of finding who you are, and finding and knowing who you are created to be, and living out your God-given mandate here on earth. So go out there, flip that switch, illuminate your world, and don't stop shining. God bless you.